Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everybody. Thank you for tuning in to another Supatease video. And with this one, we are going to be covering the Mistweaver monk. We are going to be breaking down all of the most broken things that this specialization is going to be receiving in the next expansion, Dragonflight. And if you like these types of videos, you want to stay ahead of the competition and know everything that's going on in World of Warcraft and enhance your experience maximally, then please do hit the subscribe button as it will be providing you all of that information and just letting you know when my videos go live. I'm also working diligently to be the best resource to try and get to 100,000 subscribers in my long-term goal, and you would be assisting me in that, and it would be greatly appreciated. But with the start of this video, Mistweaver is getting a huge amount of tools, a massive volume of spells that are going to be returning, and some new additions as well. The only major pain point that I've seen through observing these talents is that you're still not going to have a damage reduction cooldown for your allies, which has been kind of a major pain point for Mistweaver, at least when it comes to PvE. However, in PvP, this class is looking like it could be an absolute monster. It's getting a lot of things that I have been hoping it would get moving forward into Dragonflight. On the first row, you're going to notice the talents broken down into class and spec specific. This means that all monks will be able to get these spells, things like Rising Sun Kick, things like Tiger's Lust, things like Roll, Calming Presence, damage reduction, paralysis, just standard crowd control mechanics that you're expecting to get alongside with the monk class. The ability to dispel, and our first major winner, disable, the ability to snare targets, and I'm assuming that you will also be able to root them. So if you can double tap this, root a target, get away, root a target offensively, being able to provide some sort of kind of impact when it comes to PvP with this ability is going to be a major contributor to increasing the viability of Mistweaver. Also just kind of like what it's able to do rather than just sitting in the back channeling Soothing Mist. So really good to see this returning. Of course, paralysis to reduce the cooldown. We've got this weird pick of heavy air, which is going to increase the range of our Crackling Jade. You've got the ability to knock back with Crackling Jade, so like maybe there's some like Mimi stuff you could do with that, but it's kind of unfortunate that like 4% healing is locked behind like this quasi Mimi pick. Vivify being instant cast. I'm curious to see how much value this will be for Mistweaver. It's really powerful for Windwalker. With Mistweaver, because some of the legendary effects they're getting later on the talent tree, I could see this getting some very powerful value when you're using your portal, but it's kind of a wait and see. This either could be really broken or just not impactful at all. Ferocity of Zwen, increasing all of your damage dealt. So if you want to go for like a Fistweaving aggro build of Monk, taking this could be a viable option, but it is 2 points. Spear Hand Strike being returned. So being able to interrupt, something that Mistweaver has been missing out on for a long time. So now you can kind of root attackers, go in for a kick on an enemy healer, or maybe interrupt the polymorph that the mage was otherwise going to be getting on you for free. You're now going to have something to say about that and prevent it. Fortifying Brew, our wall cooldown, nothing really new here. Elusive Mist, reduce the damage taken while channeling Soothing Mist. Not too certain if that's going to see too much use. We can reduce the cooldown of our leg sweep through Tiger Tail Sweep, as well as increasing its range. And you're going to have a wide access to talents that you couldn't get all at the same time in previous expansions. Chi Wave, which hasn't been really powerful for a long time. This used to be one of the best heals in the game for Monk, and it's just really fallen off. Same thing with Chi Burst. This used to be a really powerful attack specifically for Windwalker Monk, but now I feel like it's going to be very lackluster. In PvE, I could be completely wrong. These things could be really powerful there, but when it comes to PvP, not really great. Provoke, which is the taunt. This is going to be really powerful for taunting pets to break crowd control, especially against hunters, because it's going to make their hunter pet move really fast at you. So it could be having some utility there. Other than that, I don't know in PvE if there's any situations you'd really want this. Ring of Peace, always really powerful. Super unique spell to knock enemies back. Fast Feet, 70% increased damage on a Rising Sun Kick. So rolling in, getting roots, participating interrupts, and landing Rising Sun Kicks for burst damage with your team. These are things that I've been wanting Mistweaver Monk to have for some time, so I'm really excited to see stuff like this. Celerity and Chi Torpedo, so being able to get Chi Torpedo. And then we can customize our Fort Brew to either be more increased dodge and armor, which in PvP is really not valuable. In PvP, I'm sure that that's great. Or we can reduce its cooldown, so I'm assuming we're going to always go with the reduced cooldown. Rollout, during rolls, you are immune to roots and snares. So this is I don't honestly like this talent because the main outplay towards a monk in PvP, which is pretty much I think the only time you'd really want this, is when you're trying to anticipate their escape and you try and like pre-charge or root their escape mechanism, and that's kind of like the outplay value exchange in PvP, and this talent completely removes that exchange. So I mean, it could be really powerful in this situation, probably will be. You have to sacrifice a lot of talents and stuff that is not that great to get something that removes an interesting exchange of mechanics in PvP. So not a big fan of the left side of the tree for that reason. Diffuse magic, really powerful defensive cooldown. Eye of the Tiger, Tiger Palm is going to apply some nature damage to the target and also heal. So again, with the Fistweaving builds, dampen harm, you get dampen harm and diffuse magic. Touch of Death to move in for our execute, and then expel harm for just a powerful instant heal. Close to the heart, you and your allies within X yards are going to gain leech. It's trying to provide some sort of like team utility. Raid utility, I think, for Monk. You're still going to be participating, I believe it's Mark of the Crane, when you do physical damage to the target. Escape from reality, really powerful effect. And this is where I'm saying with like instant Vivify, you can port behind the pillar, get half off Vivifies that are all healing 70% more while running out of line of the enemy attackers. And you have so many defensive cooldowns, so it could be really powerful. Wind walking, you and your allies are going to have increased movement speed. In raid environment, I see this being valuable, but in PvP, you're probably going to choose to drop this to go after more valuable talents. We can get reduced cooldown and touch and death. Not too great in PvP, at least in arena, because you've already won the game usually by the time a target has died. So in PvE, possibly. Generous pour, you and your allies within X yards are going to gain avoidance. Again, trying to focus on like team utility. Really lackluster in PvP. Save them all. When you're at healing spells, heal more than 3 people. This is really tough because in 3v3 arena or 2v2 arena, this talent doesn't exist because you can't heal more than that, and it ties into your Jade statue, so it feels really awkward there. So you're getting really big value, lots of returning stuff, but the left side of the talent tree feels, at least when it comes to taking all content into consideration, a little bit disjointed. Don't like the mechanical removal of that talent specifically. Resonant Fist, when 3 consecutive abilities hit more than 3 enemies. Again, similar type of deal. Really tough to get this type of situation in arena, and we don't know yet what the final kind of like Windwalker talent is of this monk tree. This could be crazy. Makes Fistweaving completely enabled, so we'll have to wait and see. And if you want to stay up to date to see that type of change, then make sure you hit the subscribe button. Bounce back, when the hit deals more than 20% of your maximum health, reduce all damage you take by X% for 6 seconds. So this could be very powerful into things like Rogue Mage. If you're anticipating to get blasted down by a massive Eviscerate or Pyroblast or something like that, and on top of all these other defensives, you're going to be a really tough target to kill. It's tough that this is tied in with like very meh talents to be able to get into that. So it's probably likely not something that you're going to want to go after or be too desirable, unfortunately. Now we go into the monk specific. We just got returning abilities, Enveloping Mist, Essence Font, Renewing Mist. Not a big fan of Essence Font being tied into Life Cocoon, kind of AoE healing, moving into a single target cooldown. Thunder Focus T, which is just our amplification of our other abilities. Invigorating Mist, Vivify is going to heal all of your allies with Renewing Mist active, giving us access to 2 charges of Renewing Mist, which is going to be really mandatory. Teachings of the Monastery, which is a really cool effect continuing forward. Tiger Palm causes your next Blackout Kick to strike an additional 3 times. Blackout Kick has a 15% chance to reduce the remaining cooldown on Rising Sun Kick. So if there is a Fistweaving build, I'm anticipating this to be really powerful. It's going to add a lot of extra damage. Now we're going to get the first line of customization here. We can either go with Revival, which is the standard effect, 3-minute cooldown, heals a lot, dispels dots, magic, poison, and disease, or we can turn it into Restoral, which is going to allow us to use it while we are stunned, but it's no longer going to remove magic. It does synergize with the Honor talent, which provides us immunity to magical effects, though. So Rogue Mage Priest, if they're going to stun us, we can pop this while we're in a stun, and we're basically going to take no damage during that stun and also heal ourselves. So this is going to be really powerful. I'm imagining in those situations, and you'll flex between the two, whether you want to counter damage over time effects with Revival, or you want to kind of have some sort of stun mitigation. Really good and powerful effect. We get healing elixirs on top of Dampen Harm and Diffuse. Absolutely crazy. Spirit of the Crane, kind of meh mana return, but maybe if there's a Fistweaving build, it could slot in there. Life Cocoon will also apply Renewing Mist, Enveloping Mist to save you some mana. We can go into Uplifted Spirits. Rising Sun Kick and Vivify critical strikes are going to reduce the cooldown of your Revival by 1 second, and your Revival will heal targets for 10% of the Revival's heal over time effect, over 10 seconds, so we can get a little bit more of a heal over time effect. Zen Pulse is returning. I believe this was back in in Warlords of Draenor, where it's going to do some damage to a target in AoE. So it might be good, might be bad, kind of hit or miss right there. Mana Tea, I'm expecting this to be kind of the go-to, whereas Life Cycles is kind of passive. If you want to reduce your keybinds to get to your mana return, kind of your choice here. But Mana Tea, I think, usually ends up being more mana overall. Nourishing Chi, Life Cocoon increases the healing of overtime effects by an additional 20%, and this effect lingers for an additional 10 seconds after the Life Cocoon has been removed. This leads into Calming Coalescence. Each time Soothing Mist heals, the absorb amount of your next Life Cocoon is increased by 3%, stacking up 50 times. So if you want to get like a really massive Life Cocoon, you can go down this route. Unfortunately, again, in PvE, just because it's an absorption and no damage reduction, there's a lot of talents to empower a spell. It's kind of poopy in PvE, whereas in PvP, this is probably going to make your Life Cocoon like a Divine Shield. So I could see this definitely having powerful effects. Also, this talent ties into what could be the most overpowered talent we've seen so far. Your Enveloping Mist heal the target for 3% of their maximum health each time they take damage. And it doesn't look like it has an internal cooldown on it. So if you're getting attacked really fast, like what does that mean? You're just full HP, full HP. This guy have an internal cooldown on. Otherwise, it's the most overpowered thing in the entire game. Invoke Jade Statue, Yu'lon, or we can go for Chi-Ji. So if you want immunities to roots, you want to get maybe more offensive with the melee Fistweaving builds, you could go after Chi-Ji. Yu'lon, there's going to be talents below it that also reduce its cooldown significantly. So getting those, I think, on a 1 minute cooldown is going to be really powerful. We can buff up Zen Pulse if we want to go this route. Zen Pulse is going to trigger a second time at 30% effectiveness. Or we can go for Accumulating Mist. Zen Pulse damage and healing will be increased by 10% each time Soothing Mist heals up to 6 times. So this might be a big chunky hit, might be worth checking out. We can get Song of Chi-Ji on top of getting Ring of Peace, on top of getting the Extendo legs for our leg sweep. So lots of utility, lots of CC, roots, interrupts, and damage reduction. Really big improvements and likely going to make you super powerful in PvP. Rapid Diffusion, Rising Sun Kick, Enveloping Mist, apply Renewing Mist for 3 seconds. So if you want to do like a kind of Fistweaving build, you can go after this Rapid Diffusion, something that I would definitely try. Yu'lon Whisper, activating Thunder Focus T, causes you to exhale the breath of Yu'lon, just kind of AoE healing in front of you. It leads into Phaline Stomp, which I'm really surprised to see continue forward because it was just so difficult to actually execute and pull off. I'm not sure if this is intended as some sort of like Mythic Plus pick where trash pulls, you're going to be able to maybe hold enemies mobs in it and do something with it, but in PvP this is likely never going to be selected. Mist Wrap, increase Enveloping Mist duration by 1 second. It's healing by 10%, likely going to be really good. And then when we go into here, we can either go after Yu'lon and get some mana reduction towards our Enveloping Mist, which I mean Mistweaver was already super potent at mana, so I'm not sure if you're going to really want to do that. This will lead into Enveloping Breath, where Yu'lon and Chi-Ji will heal up to 6 targets with Enveloping Breath, and you can, when you cast Enveloping Mist, it's going to heal for 9,000 over 6 seconds and increase the healing they receive by 10. This is important to take because then it leads into reducing their cooldowns by 2 minutes to a 1 minute cooldown. I'd be really curious to try the Chi-Ji and try a Fistweaving version of this and kind of try and get it going like Way of the Crane used to be. Still not immune to stuns, but you got a lot of these other defensives that might enable that playstyle. Dancing Mist, Renewing Mist has a 5% chance to immediately spread to another target. Again, in raid environment, spreading Renewing Mist around, I'm not sure too much in PvP. Font of Life, your Essence Font initial heals increased by 289, has a chance to reduce the cooldown of your Thunder Focus T. They're bringing back this mechanic. Curious to see if it works out or not. Ancient Teachings of the Monastery. After casting Essence Font, your Tiger Palm, Blackout Kick, and Rising Sun Kick heal an injured ally for 250%. So if you want to do a Fistweaving build, you're definitely going to want to go after that. Clouded Focused, healing Enveloping Mist or Vivify while channeling Soothing Mist increases their healing done by 20%, reduces their mana cost by 20%. And I think this is the existing legendary. So this is really good, efficient heals. So you got a real kind of identity choice here with these talents. If you want to be the standard of Mistweaver heal in the back, or you want to try and risk it and go for some Fistweaving, stuff like that. So at the moment, I'm just going for the Fistweaving stuff, just because I think Fistweaving is super fun. We can go into Thunder Focused, or Focused Thunder. Thunder Focused T now empowers your next 2 spells, or Upwelling every 6 seconds. Essence Font spends off cooldown. Your next Essence Font may be channeled for 1 additional second. Bone Dust Brew making its return. Curious to see if it's as powerful as its current iteration, but definitely looks like kind of a go-to to go on this row. Ancient Concordance, your Blackout Kick strikes 2 targets, and have an additional 3% chance to reset the cooldown of Rising Sun Kick. So it's very obvious curious that they're intending for like some sort of Fistweaving PvE build of Mistweaver to try and get out like a bunch of pump damage with Phalanx Stomp. Not too sure how it would work, at least in arena, because it's hard to get that many targets to hit anyways. Peaceful Mending. Allies targeted by Soothing Mist receive 10% more healing from your Enveloping Mist and Renewing Mist, so just focus on throughput. Secret Infusion making a return. When you use Thunder Focus T, you're going to get some extra stats depending on what you cast. 10% haste for Renewing Mist, 10% crit for Enveloping, Mastery with Vivify, versatility with Rising Sun Kick, so you're going to get some extra stats for damage boosts. Misty Peaks. Renewing Mist heal over time effect has a 5% chance to proc Enveloping Mist for 3 seconds. That could be really powerful, but it's really low proc chance. Resplendent Mist. Gust of Mist has a 30% chance to do 50% more healing. This is a lot of your effective healing at the moment. Definitely going to be a powerful talent. Awakened Phalanx. Your abilities reset Phalanx Stomp 100% more often, while within Phalanx Stomp, your Tiger Strike Palm strikes 2 additional targets. Spinning Crane Kick will heal nearby allies for 15% of the damage done. Kind of depends on how much damage it does. In PvE, that seems like it could be really good for damage output, but in PvP, I don't know if it'll be enough. Restorative Proliferation. Each time Enveloping Mist heals, its healing bonus has a 50% chance to spread to an injured ally within 30 yards. Again, RNG chance, but in the arena, it's not going to be too great. In RBG, that's going to give you a lot. Like all these spreading, renewing, enveloping mist are going to be really powerful in rated battleground. Tea of Plenty, Thunder Focus Tea also grants enveloping mist, essence font, renewing mist, rising sun kick, and vivify 1 extra charge at random. The random part, like if you get an extra essence font, not too great, but if you get a double rising sun kick, you might get like a double pump. Unison, Soothing Mist heals a second injured ally within 15 yards for 50% of the amount healed. Might be nice for like 2 target heal cleave. And here we go. Invoker's Delight. You gain 33% haste after summoning your Celestial. So you could summon Chi-Ji on a 1-minute cooldown, get immunity to roots, run in there, start doing some extra damage and cleave. And then also gain 33% haste to get the globals that you're going to lose trying to get in and do damage with physical attacks. So this is great for quality of life. Could be super powerful. Tear of Mourning. Casting Vivify Enveloping Mist on a target with Renewing Mist has a 10% chance to spread the Renewing Mist. Again, that Vivify spreading Renewing Mist build likely going to be more powerful in rated BGs or raid. Your Vivify healing through Renewing Mist is also increased by 20%. And your Enveloping Mist also heals allies with Renewing Mist for 20% of its healing. So a lot of AoE healing throughout that build. Rising Mist, Rising Sun Kick heals all allies within your Renewing Mist, Enveloping Mists for 1200 and extends those effects by 4 seconds up to 100% of their original duration. So if you want to do that Fistweaving build, you can extend all those hots for free. That seems really powerful. Then we got Bountiful Brew. Your abilities have a low chance to cast Bone Dust at a target, or Bone Dust Brew's shadow damage or healing is increased by 20%. And when Bone Dust Brew deals damage, shadow damage or healing, its cooldown is reduced. I'm a really big fan of these effects that are like Rising Sun Kick, working with your hots, incorporating your damage, getting you to get in their enemy's face. You get a lot of damage reduction, a lot of utility and crowd control to get offensive with Mistweaver, which is great to see here with these talents. I really do like them. The left side of the talent tree on the baseline, don't like the removal of main effects and mechanics in PvP. Some of them don't really make sense and are kind of weak talents. I'm not a big fan of these like avoidance and leech ones, although maybe if you're a PvEer, you completely disagree with me. Those ones are super powerful. Other than that, seems like you've got some obvious customization decisions to make here, whether you want to focus on being a powerhouse healer in the back, a Fistweaving kind of punch monk, focused on crowd control, damage reduction, and you're gonna have a lot of choice. So very excited for the Mistweaver monk. Looks super duper overpowered right now on a first glance, and I hope that you did enjoy this video. If you did, please leave it a thumbs up and comment down below with your thoughts. Is this enough for you to check out the Mistweaver monk for Dragonflight? And I will catch you in the next video.